Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pregame Network podcast. This is episode 82. I am your host, Dan, joined by my pal Anthony. My bestest pal Anthony. Sorry,
There we
fucked
go.
that one
That's
up last
much,
week.
That's much better. You had me sweating the entire 2 hours, man.
Back to talk about more video game news and what we feel is wrong in the industry and video game news and yeah, that kind of thing. So, as per usual, we're going to go over what we've been playing this past week and then get into anything that we feel is noteworthy that happened over the last 7 days.
Indeed.
So I'm going to turn the mic to you because I've been going first the past couple weeks in a row. So let's, what have you been playing, Anthony?
Well, pretty by the numbers week this week, just because I've been busy with a lot of different things. So it's mainly been the rotation. You know, I've got Marvel vs. Capcom with Harrison. We have Arc Raiders in the finals as a group. I've gotten back to showing my buddy Silent Hill 2 remake. We're almost done with that. I think that's everything. I've been playing around a bit with PlayStation 3 emulation, so I've handled just a small sampler of PlayStation games, but I haven't really sat down and played through anything, so it's a little dry. But I try to play around with new things and set up new avenues and all that kind of stuff. But it was very by the numbers this week for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, pretty much the same with I think two exceptions. I mean, again, the normal rotation in my corner as well. Finals, I've been playing a lot more Space Marine lately, like I've been saying for the past couple weeks. Battlefield has been a staple. Arc Raiders, after you and Harrison logged off last night, I still played for like another 2 hours or something. That game is very unforgiving, but it's definitely has my attention, and I'm digging it so far. But I have started a new game this week. Did I mention anything about Metal Eden to you last week?
Last week I don't think so. Last week you were telling me about the I forgot what it's called, but it was like the Desert Strike like game. That one you told me about, but Metal Eden. No,
Yeah, Cleared Hot. I actually finished
that.
There's only like 12 missions, but
Yeah,
I finished. Yeah, well, it's in early access, and then they already published a roadmap, so they're going to be adding a lot more content. But I've played through the 12 missions that are in the current build, and I mean it's great. I don't have a single bad thing to say about it. It's really good. Yeah, so I eagerly look forward to that studio putting out more content for this game. They could do so much with it, so I'm very, very excited. But yeah, Cleared Hot, great time. Anyone who's thinking about picking it up, just buy it. It'll be worth every penny. And I started playing through Metal Eden, which is, I can only describe, it's a competent Doom clone, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's like, it wants to be part Titanfall, part Black Ops 3, part Doom, part COD, what else part Cyberpunk. It's like all these different things thrown into one, but it's like, it's so obviously a spin on the Doom formula as far as like weapon progression in Doom 2016. That's really where it started. We're like, oh, pick one of the two of these upgrades and continue down that path. Every other room is like a big arena that you're gonna fly around in and kill enemies and blah blah. So instead of like, how Doom has glory kills and that's how you re-up all your resources and keep fighting. This game has like this core system. So like everything that you fight is like a cyborg or a robot of some variety, and they all have these cores. And if you damage them enough, then you can rip out the core, and then you can either consume the core to like charge up this super punch, but it also heals you depending on the upgrades that you have, or you can just throw it and it explodes on impact. So that's the one differentiating factor that I have found so far.
Yeah, about play around with the formula a little bit.
Yeah, I'm about 3-ish hours in. This is looking like a 12-hour campaign to me. I mean, it's fun. Like I said, it's a competent Doom clone, but it's just that. It's a Doom clone. I think I got it for like $15, so I'm not losing any sleep over it.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds, and I just looked at a screenshot. It sounds and looks kind of familiar. I feel like we watched this get announced at some award show.
It's possible.
This is the one I think at first at first glance, I think I said it. Oh, it kind of reminds me of Destiny. I know it's not like that, but I think that's coming to mind because I remember looking at the way it looked and handled, and I think I mentioned something about Destiny. Obviously, it's not that 1-to-1, but that's, I think, the comparison I made whenever it got announced like a year ago or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
It does look very familiar.
I'm 95% sure that this game is this studio's first game. If it's not its first game, it's its first-person shooter. It's one of those two. But I mean, to its credit, I will say that the gunplay feels very good, and that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it. I mean, again, it's like everything. Like if you were to play through it, you'd be like, "Oh, this is just Doom, but in space." And even Doom is.
When you say Doom, you mean like the newer like arena to arena, running around, jumping, shooting, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very, very reminiscent of that. Not a bad time because like to build off of a good foundation is still going to be fun, but it's still like it's very derivative in a good way, I guess. I don't have anything overly negative to say about it. Like once I beat this, I'll probably put it down and never think about it again. But so far, it's a good time. Which actually, I mean, this kind of brings me to my first topic that I really wanted to talk about because I wrote it in the news channel. So I wrote that, at least for me, I'm sure you have your own slate of content to go through, but I'm eating almost too good in the month of December. And it's like, it's kind of becoming an issue. So I'm going to read the list of the games that I wrote down that I'm currently playing, they just got a content update or is getting one very, very soon, like within the next 2 days. So Space Marine 2 got the Reclamation update. They added some new heroic weapons and a new operation you could play through. And they're also adding the Tech Marine next patch, which is probably like 2 months away or something like that. So really good content on the horizon, and we just got a really good. Actually, the operation that they just added is probably my favorite one. I think it's great. It's a really good level. So Space Marine 2 just got a content update. Dark Tide is getting a new class and a new and more content in 2 days. Battlefield is just like been a thing that I've been playing, and it's in the thick of its seasonal content for season 1. Destiny 2 Renegades is coming out on the 2nd also. That's in 2 days, and I need to play through that just to like see the direction they're taking the game this time. And again, I've said this before, I already paid for the entire year, not thinking that things were going to get this bad. So like I already own it. I'm going to play through it. Be stupid not to. Arc Raiders, I'm full send on. I really like it, and it's only going to get more content. Helldivers is getting a new war bond on the 2nd. It's all happening on the fucking 2nd. I don't know why. But we're finally getting a goddamn minigun. I've been asking for it for like a year, so I'm super happy about that. And those are just the games that like I just remembered off the top of my head. I'm not even including Metal Eden in this because I'm just gonna play that when I just don't feel like playing anything else. But there's just so much to play. I don't remember another time when I had like this, just the volume of games to play through all at once. And I haven't even gotten to Black Ops 7 Endgame yet, which is I definitely want to talk about that a little bit. But I mean, like that's just a handful of games that I remember off the top of my head that I am currently playing or I plan on going back to in the imminent future. Like Satisfactory, I haven't really touched since they got their 1.0 update. I know Deep Rock Survivor got some content recently. There's just a bunch of shit that I'm interested in that I want to play. Killing Floor 3, I'm pretty sure is getting more content in a month or two. There's too much stuff, and I can't clone myself, so I can't play it all at all times. And it's just like, oh god, I want to play all of it, but I can't. And it's almost too much, right? I don't have the time.
The worst thing to do is to get overwhelmed by it. You just gotta take a look, scope it out, and make your time, and find a way to put all that together. You know.
I think Space Marine 2. I'm gonna cool it a little bit on that. I've been putting a lot of time in the past couple of weeks. Dark Tide, I'm gonna dive in headfirst on Tuesday. That new class looks awesome. Battlefield, I mean, it's Battlefield. I'm gonna go back to it like here and there. as far as Destiny Renegades goes, I'm so, and like I have, what does I say about all the info dump as of late too? That happened this past week. Um, I'm, I know I've said this before again, but like I kind of want to get back into it, but at the same time I don't, and I'm not gonna like go out looking for a whole other clan that is gonna be as into it as I was like a year ago. But Renegades is like looks to be very dense as far as the content offering, and it's I don't know. There's a lot to gnaw on right now if you're Dan, and both a good and a bad thing. I mean, Arc, like man, I just want to jump back in and play. Like I like the Arc Raiders has done the extraction genre how I like it, I guess. I don't really know how to articulate that one. The only other one that I really got a kick out of was DMZ, but that thing is very much dead. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of rambling here. Point being, I have too much.
You have a lot of stuff.
Time to do it.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff. I mean, the only negative thing, aside from the fact that you can't necessarily find the time to play it all, in my book, is that a lot of it is live service stuff. And yes. why I say that I list that as a negative, because the positive is clearly you getting all this content, is twofold. Is one, the way it's designed is it's kind of meant to almost string you along as you play it, and two, if you don't get to it right away, you run the risk of it kind of, just blending into the blob that is the existing content. You kind of lose out on that, It's not like an expansion in the days of old, like, I loved Age of Empires 2. It's like, if I miss Age of Empires 2, the Conqueror's expansion, and I don't get it for 3 weeks, when I pick it up, it's still going to be chock full of all this stuff, and it's clear and definitive, So that's
actually, to think of it, every single game that I listed off, they're all fucking live service. Like, what is wrong with me?
I mean, listen, you like what you like, and it touches on what we talked about like near the end of last year, or at some point. It's been an ongoing topic where it's like, if AAA fails, if AA is slow, if indies are full themselves and they drop the ball more often than not, what you're going to end up with is like these live service mobile like experiences. It's like I got into it with the Gacha Kick. It's like, you don't want to make action games, you don't want to make ARPGs, I'll just go play, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, all these other games where it's like they're not optimal, but they're good enough, they're comfortable, and there's just a shit ton of content waiting for me, So it's that's how you end up in that kind of live service whirlpool. It's a testament to just how bad things have gotten year over year. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to save most of this for when we talk about the end of the year, but I think this year was not, we're so back, everything's golden and everything like that, as, I like to point out people say online, but I think, it's, this year so far has been pretty good as far as games is concerned, but it hasn't been like that for a while, and it kind of shows, and that's why you're in this live service bucket,
Yeah, I mean, the only two games that released this year were Arc Raiders and Battlefield. Everything else came out years ago. So it's, but that's just the nature of the live service beast. And if they weren't so intoxicatingly fun to play, like I wouldn't have this problem. But every single game on that list, of mine at least, they're all a complete blast to play, just like moment-to-moment gameplay. Yeah. And that's just fucking developers hijacking my brain's dopamine system, I guess. That's literally what it is. So, yeah, man, I don't know. It's a really good problem to have, I guess. So there is that. I'm gonna pass the mic back to you if you have something, because again, like I said, the Destiny Renegades info dump happened this past week, and I definitely have thoughts, but I don't want to continue ranting right now. So
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Please interject with something constructive.
So, so interestingly enough, I've mentioned for a while that I would say just overall as a whole, you've heard me talk a lot about Dead Rising in the last year or so. obviously,
Yeah.
between the deluxe remaster coming out, my upcoming, video on Dead Rising. It's been the talk, and I thought, I was gonna free you of this, right? You won't have to hear me talk about Dead Rising until I get the feeling to go like, oh man, I love Dead Rising, I want to go play it again. But a fairly credible leak happened this week
Oh boy.
that says Capcom is currently developing a new mainline sequel in the Dead Rising series, and that it's been in development since 2023. And there's been just a smattering of things like, oh, it's going to have the traditional time limit. I'm like, okay, that's good in my book. They're still going to have psychopaths, and I'm just like, I hate the fact that leaks even need to mention this, because the only reason it's up for debate is because psychopath is kind of brought up as just like, oh, is it okay for us to still call it a psychopath? Is it not demeaning? So the fact that it's even mentioned as like, oh, don't worry, we've got him, is kind of a red flag for me. It's apparently going to be set in a massive Hollywood movie studio lot, kind of like a play on Hollywood. And it's going to star my favorite character, Frank West. Now,
Oh boy. There we go.
I don't know if I trust Capcom right now after that Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster thing, because I think that while Deluxe Remaster had its own set of problems, and that was the result of things like, oh, we're gonna outsource it, it's gonna be quick and dirty, and I think learning about this potential sequel that's been in development for a while, I think the quick and dirty nature was less to celebrate the original Dead Rising, but to kind of like give like a jump start, like a little pulse check to the Dead Rising franchise, to maybe prep it for like a 2026 release or an early 2027 release, right? And all that says to me is like, I don't think anyone has learned anything, and I'm very wary about that. I would much I there's only so much I can say, otherwise you're gonna have me sitting here spending 45 minutes doing what it needs for like a Dead Rising sequel. But the bottom line is like, as much as I love Frank, as much as I love Dead Rising, I prefer not to have Frank if you're not going to get the original voice actor. If you clearly still don't understand the character after not understanding the character for 13 years, I'd much prefer you just bench him for a bit, make a new character, or maybe go back to Chuck, because everybody loves Chuck. I'm not completely sold on a movie studio set working. It's got to be something special, and just a lot of the early stuff I'm wary, I've been burned by this franchise a handful of times, and just to sate my curiosity, I talked to my guy on the inside of the Dead Rising Discord. I'm like, what are they thinking about it? Because it kind of gives me a heads up to the kind of idiocy I'm going to have to hear about online. Not that I interact with communities or anything. And already people are saying, it's like, oh man, it's going to suck if they don't get the original voice actor. And they're just like, oh, you're so negative. Just let people enjoy things. I'm like, oh, I'm not looking forward to dealing with that if this game ends up being a stinker, So I'm very wary about the potential of a new Dead Rising. So I guess that's the gist of it as far as that's concerned. But I mean, on paper, it doesn't sound terrible. In practice, I have no faith. So we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening with a potential new Dead Rising. Yeah.
Well, as far as potential new games go, there was a leak recently that Destiny 3 is in, quote, extremely early development, end quote. Now, there's like basically no basis for this other than the fact that the guy who posted it on Twitter, he's had some sort of a successful track record leaking both Destiny and Marathon stuff. And he says that, again, it's in extremely early development. I don't know what the fuck that means, but this is what the entire community wanted after Final Shape. So, I mean, extremely early development to me sounds like there's a bunch of ideas on a whiteboard somewhere in a Bungie office, in that studio.
Pre-planning stages, essentially.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if that is going to be a thing, which I personally think that eventually they will have no choice but to make Destiny 3 if they want to keep the franchise alive, if they want to continue to have their cash cow. But I don't think that's going to happen for quite some time. I think it's going to be like at least 5 years. and that's being generous.
that
So,
could be. I mean, I would say if I didn't know as much about the situation and I didn't hear you talk about it as much as you have for the last year, my gut feeling would say, oh, Destiny 3, we might see it in like 2.5, 3 years, right? However, knowing everything, just the timing of the leaks, talking to you about Destiny for as long as you've been ranting about it, and just the general thing. My main thing is like, okay, pre-production, kind of like what you said. It's like early production. What does that mean exactly? And the first thing I think is Bungie is spread so thin right now, just trying to
yeah,
like get Marathon off the ground. It can't be anything meaningful, even in that
yeah.
vague realm of early production. So I think it might just be, you said a couple ideas on a whiteboard. I think there might be some very rudimentary testing maps in play, with a lot of Destiny 2 assets, maybe. But I mean, if that is the case, let's just say we humor it for a second. That's amazing for them, just because that means that Sony isn't about to liquidate them or just turn them in, just completely gut the studio.
So it is. I am of the opinion that Sony, one, doesn't want to do that, and two, it would make them look terrible. Most of their live service plans have not panned out over the past, I don't know, 6 years or so, maybe 5.
Arguably ever.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like look at Concord for one. That was the greatest blunder in gaming history.
Just,
So,
I don't want to sidetrack too far, but I just gotta say, because I forgot to mention this, a group of people got together to host private Concord servers, and Sony shut them down almost immediately.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, they were like, "Nope, this is gonna stay dead."
Just stay dead. But yeah, continue. Carry on with what you were saying.
Oh God, where was it? Totally lost my train of thought.
You were talking about how Sony has never had success with live service.
Oh yeah, so I don't think they're gonna do that to Bungie, and I also think that enough people still play Destiny 2 where it would be a financially irresponsible decision, because we have Steam numbers, which are obviously at a record low, but we don't have console numbers. Those are always going to be higher, especially for a game like Destiny, in my opinion. There's probably still a bunch of people playing on console. I mean, probably lower than usual right now, but I still think that at the very least, it's probably more than Steam numbers right now between Xbox and PlayStation. But I don't think I don't think they would do that. It would be, one, it would be so embarrassing for Sony as a company, and two, I mean, as much as Sony got taken for a ride with the amount of money they paid for Bungie, Destiny is still the only moneymaker for that company. They can't shut it down. Like what would you? That would be crazy. So I don't think they would do that. But on the same topic of Bungie, someone leaked 132 minutes of Marathon gameplay from private private playtest sessions.
Yeah.
Now most of them, actually all of them, were DMCA struck, so I haven't even seen them. But with a game like Marathon, I believe nothing until I see it. I take nobody's word for something like this until I see it or even play it. And I'm not gonna fucking pay for this game. So yeah, there's that. I don't know, man. I think that they just need to cut their losses and move on to something else, like Destiny 3 maybe. But what do I know?
I'm not convinced at all in Marathon having any modicum of success. I think as it stands right now, the most they can hope for is like a better than people expected launch and then a niche following afterwards. But I don't see it being the success that I think I've said this before, like that Sony wants and Bungie needs. But maybe it's just the amount of money they put into it, they just can't pull out or something. Not that I'm saying
that the name itself.
But
I think that the name itself is so tainted at this point with everything that this game went through, like 6 months ago, that everyone who knows what Marathon is probably has no interest in touching it with a 10-foot pole until it's out in the wild already, and other guinea pigs buy it and play it and see what it's all about. So yeah, man, I don't know. I think Marathon is all but doomed to fail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess while we're on the topic, the Destiny Renegades info dump happened this past week, and I have thoughts. because they showed off a lot of the Star Wars stuff, right?
Hmm.
There are some things that were just like really cheesy, and I just thought it was dumb. Like the
Hmm.
main antagonist is a Dredgen, and in the lore of Destiny, a Dredgen is like a light wielder who chooses to use his powers for not so great things. So like, a Sith. Um, but they got Alex Lee to voice this antagonist for this expansion. You know who that is, I assume?
Who's Alex Lee again?
He is a big voice actor in gaming. Hold on, I'll pull up what he's actually in. A lot of Marvel animated stuff. On this, because he did a bunch of games too. Known for solo leveling, Demon Slayer, Secret Levels, Street Fighter, um, Splinter Cell, Death Watch. Oh boy, okay.
Who does he play in Street Fighter?
Street Fighter, he plays Luke.
Oh, I'm in my mind I'm going Alex Lee when it's spelled Aleksle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who Alex Lee is. I'm familiar with him. He's been getting a lot of roles lately ever since he started voicing. I mean, he's been around before that, but ever since he started voicing Luke, I've noticed him start to get a shit ton of roles. He was in one of the Persona games. He gets a lot of anime roles now. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is the voice of this new antagonist. Now, Anthony, if I didn't know who voiced this character in this expansion, I would have put money on the fact that it was Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. He sounds indistinguishable. It like to the point where when I first saw the villain and heard the voice, I was like, "Come on, man! Like really? Like we're gonna." First of all, Kylo Ren was a terrible fucking villain in Star Wars. I feel like he would have been a lot better if the writing was a lot better, but we all know how that turned out. But it's not even like he was trying to put his own spin on it. It was so clearly like, oh, this guy sounds like Kylo Ren, so he's a bad guy. Not even like taking into account how the character dresses. But I mean, I don't know. That was a bit much for me. Like they didn't even try to make him sound like someone else. That was probably like the thing that bothered me the most, I'd say. But just from like that baseline, I feel like that's probably a positive thing. And what I mean by that is like everything that I saw, it looked like it definitely belonged in the Destiny universe. And if I'm being like completely objective, it looked like it definitely belonged in the Destiny universe, which is a good thing. The sound effects just fucking ripped straight out of Star Wars, like unashamedly. So like all the weapons that have this new heat mechanic, which is actually like a really cool new mechanic for the different weapon archetypes, they all sound exactly like a Star Wars blaster. Different variants, obviously, but they sound exactly like it. The Praxic Blade, which is this new exotic sword in the game, it's a fucking lightsaber. It sounds like a lightsaber. It looks like a lightsaber. It behaved like one. Apparently, according to all the content creators that went out to Bungie for the preview event, it's like the weapon itself in game is phenomenal. But like, how could they not make it amazing? You know?
Yeah.
Lucasfilm would never let them make it anything other than one of the greatest swords in slot in the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean that's cool. Sure. I was primarily worried about how everything was going to feel. I'm not really going to know for sure until I get my hands on it on Tuesday. But like when you look at the environments, you could say to yourself, "Oh, this looks like it could be in Star Wars," but at the same time, it's very based in Destiny aesthetic. So I think honestly, I think they kind of nailed the overall look. If they didn't say, "Oh, this is a collaboration with Star Wars," I feel like people wouldn't be as hateful towards this expansion as they are right now. But I will say the music that they made for this, really good, really good. So, but Destiny doesn't live and die on its music. All that being said, I still like don't really know how I feel about it. I have this sneaking suspicion that Lucasfilm, or by extension Disney, is so desperate for like a really solid Star Wars game because Battlefront 1 and 2 got just like crucified into nobody playing it anymore because of the egregious microtransactions. Squadrons never really took off. Um, Star Wars Jedi, I guess, like Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. I don't think they were as big as Disney would have wanted them to be. They were viewed well, sure, but I don't think they were like huge commercial successes. I have a suspicion that Disney. I don't know who approached who first. Whether I couldn't imagine it was Disney going to Bungie, but I would imagine that like behind closed doors in the Disney board meeting room, they want a video game that is going to bring in a lot of money. They could slap the Star Wars brand on it, and it's not going to be this microtransaction hellscape that every multiplayer Star Wars game has been so far since Disney took over.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Bungie working with Lucasfilm is such a match made in heaven because Destiny already has their core fan base. There's a group of players that are hardcore Destiny fans that are never going to leave that game. I thought that was me once, but I mean, last time I played was like in July. But they have that core fan base. And there's another portion of the fan base that I feel like they want to come back. They're just waiting for the right reason. And if Renegades lands how they want it to, that might be that reason. But going back to my original point, I think that this collaboration was very strategic. I don't think it was just like, oh, it'd be cool if Destiny was in Star Wars. No, I don't think that was how it went. I think that Disney probably wants a already established IP with a already established fan base and player base, and that is Destiny. And Bungie is so desperate to make their game, popular again, that Star Wars is like the biggest entertainment franchise in history, I think, or maybe that's GTA, but it's up there. So I feel like this was mutually beneficial, maybe for some of the wrong reasons. I'm not really going to have a final opinion until after Tuesday when I eventually play it. But I don't know. It kind of feels like part of it feels like fan service. Another part of it just feels like corporate desperation. Am I making sense here?
You are making sense. I think the reason you're having a little difficulty pinning down exactly where this falls for you and how it feels in the greater scheme of things is because of Destiny and Star Wars are at the lowest points I've ever seen either brand. Yes. I think that kind of sours the moment, regardless of whether it ends up being, successful or like a shot in the arm for either brand. It's gonna be there's dourness around it because of the position both franchises are in. I think that's why your radar is a little off.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
But I do understand what you're saying makes sense. It's just every statement you make where it's just like, oh, the weapons look good. Everything sounds good. They seem to be balanced in a way that they're fun and effective. There's this, that, and the other thing, because in the back of your mind you're still going, what the hell's going on with Destiny overall? Star Wars I haven't been diehard into Star Wars in a long time, even though I love the franchise as it was.
Yeah, and let me be clear, I fucking love Star Wars. I have a big Star Wars tattoo on my leg. Like I love Star Wars, but after Disney took over, it really just went down the shitter. I'll be the first one to admit that. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you spelled it out. Like, you are a fan of both of these franchises. The reason things don't make sense to you is because both franchises are currently at a very, very low point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I get I don't know where they're going with this story. It could be cool if they play their cards right, I guess. I guess I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not going to be as into it as I was a year or two ago. I don't think that's going to happen, especially with all of the games on my plate.
That's not something that they need to cater to you, and they need to do it for a while before you would even consider, investing more time. That you can't like rebuild that. It's like trying to rebuild trust after like some kind of betrayal. It's not something that's just like you can't flip a switch.
Yeah. So anyway, the point being is that I mean the Destiny Renegades info dump was this past week. It is looking better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, it's a little cheesy, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. I really don't even have a horse in this race anymore. But again, I did buy the whole fucking Year of Prophecy, so I do own it technically, so I'm going to play it.
You are locked in, so to speak.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
I think depending on how this one goes, like it'll kind of dictate how much I engage with the franchise going forward. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all very weird. It just like the way that they decided to make an entire expansion, like with everything in the expansion inspired by a completely separate IP. It's just weird, man. Like I don't know how else to put it. I would love to know how this came to be. I would love to be a fly on the wall in that meeting. I really, really would.
I'm sure they'll do interviews at some point. You'll learn more about it, or somebody will just drop it at some point.
Yeah, after everybody that worked on it is dead, like the fucking JFK assassination.
No, it's not that. It's not that hidden or anything like that. I'm sure you'll hear about it at some point.
Yeah, perhaps. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the world of Destiny. That was really the bulk of the stuff that I had to talk about this week. Pretty slow week. I mean, with the exception of like releases and stuff, because everything is seemingly hitting on the same fucking day next week. Everything that I play, at least, is all hitting on the same day. All the updates, all the expansions, new content packs, it's all fucking hitting on December 2nd. But as far as news goes, nothing like crazy big has happened in my realm.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
If you got something, I'm all ears.
I have a few small things, medium things, I guess you could say. Two remakes recently got one got leaked and the other one got some new news and showings and whatnot, and everybody's been talking about them quite a bit. I'll get the smaller one out of the way just because I don't have too much to say about it outside of just like it's a par for the course thing. And you've never played the original. I have very limited experience with the original. I think I played it like once, maybe twice. So the Gothic remake has been it's been in development for a long time. Like it's been in development. You know how there's the what?
Too long. It's been in development for too long.
It's been for an RPG. You kind of need to put your time in. I'm just trying to time frame it. Like you know how there are Destroy All Human remakes. Like there's two of them. There's one for 1 and 2. I think it's been in development. Or it started development around the same time the first Destroy All Humans thing was in development. So it's been in development for a while. I almost get Baldur's Gate 3 vibes from it, how it was just kind of announced and then developed in the background. But anyway. So there was a bit of a blog post. People are talking about revamping, combat and things like that. It's like, okay, listen, remakes are allowed to play around with the combat, tweak it. Maybe it'll be more like Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 1 Legendary Edition as far as fine-tuning. Maybe it'll be a bit more. I'm not too clear on it. But everybody's freaking out, Dan, about one of my favorite topics. What do you think it is? I guess,
is it localization?
No. Localization is for out of languages, but it's close. It's a different one.
Censorship,
that's it. So here's the thing that bothers me, and this turns into, it's a huge argument going on online because basically people have kind of, been doing comparisons now that we have more of the game in front of us, and people are pointing out the female characters are uglier than before, they're more masculine than before, their outfits are completely different. And I mean, there's only so many ways I can fucking say just don't do that. I know it's like the reason they do it is because, of a bunch of cultural shit and because it's easy to do because it's like, oh, there's that weirdo on the internet. He's saying the pixelated ladies don't look pretty anymore. Isn't that so weird? It's like I just don't like censorship. And it's really bothersome to me in this case because it reminds me of a situation with Diablo 2. Remember Diablo 2 Resurrected?
Yes, I do.
I remember watching a few developer documentaries about them, right? And they talked about how they agonized over all these things because it was a very Diablo 2 good looking game, but the original was at a lower resolution, so finer details were lost. So they're going back into the Blizzard back catalog. They're unearthing design documents. They're contacting people. Like they're going out of their way to like say like, oh, what's this 3 pixel object on a table? Oh, that's like a piece of garlic. Oh, perfect. Now we can model a piece of garlic and make it look nice, right? I remember watching that and going, wow, what an amazing effort. And you look at Diablo 2 Resurrected, and 98% of it looks fucking amazing, right? It is a good looking remaster, right?
Good news.
But for some reason, you get to the women characters and the women look like men. It's like, the reason it bothers me, aside from the fact that it's like you just like botch a slam dunk of a release, and this all factors into Gothic, obviously, is the fact that it's like, because of the quality of everything else in the remake, I know that it was such an intentional effort to make these women ugly. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, there were some iffy things about the men in Diablo 2 too, but my whole point is it is so on the nose. I hate seeing and looking at a remake, be it for something I've loved, something I liked, something I had passing interest in, and I just look and I do a lot of research when I'm interested in buying something. I love doing comparison shots, mainly because I find it a little bit of fun, but also because if my money's going towards it, I want to know it's going to the right place. And nothing is more jarring and alarming to me than when I'm like, oh, this looks perfect, this looks amazing, and then like right next to, the side by side with the screenshot, there's just something in front of me that is just glaringly different for what is obviously at this point arbitrary reasons. And that's what happened with the Gothic remake, and it's just,
yikes.
Again, it goes back to what I said when we were talking about the Oblivion remaster, where it's just like almost everything's correct except some of the armor for certain female outfits are different, and there's body type instead of sex and whatever. And it's just like, I go like, if you're willing to just change something like that on a dime, why would I even... This is something... It's gone from me ever spending money on it to, like, maybe I'll pirate it or get it for free at some point and play it, because I don't trust you anymore. You're compromised. Because the same way they say, it's like, oh, it's just a small thing. I'm like, yeah, and if they can nudge their way in through these massive things to change such a small thing that they shouldn't change because it's so small, then, like, what am I supposed to do here? But... That similar kind of thing happened with the Gothic remake. Everyone's kind of been approaching it cautiously, and then this kind of thing blew up. And one of the original modelers came out to basically say, like, what the hell did they do here? It's like it's just like, it's so obvious that we designed them a particular way the first time, and they're like the only thing in the room that doesn't look like they tried to be faithful, and like. People are just, like the guy that was talking about it. He's kind of a nut job himself. Is like, everyone's just like, oh, you had people online going, oh, but the original was so sexist, and the modeler goes, that's the point. These people are like, they're trophies to these people. The king came down and he brought these women who he sees as objects. That's the fucking point. So it's just like, I don't know, man. I've been passively interested in the Gothic remake since I did a news whole thing on it like a year ago. And I had to mention it as part of a press release, and I'm just like, oh, that's actually interesting. I've been curious about this for a while. It was back when I had like some semblance of like, oh, remakes could be bad, but it's not a given. Now it's just like I'm completely burnt out. But
yeah.
So that's dead in the water as far as I'm concerned, short of something changing. You never know, because there were changes made. Similar things were happening with like Tomb Raider remasters and Legacy of Kain remasters, and they corrected ship near the end, but we'll see what happens with the Gothic remake. But the other remake that got information via leak is the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake.
Oh God!
I remember I sent you a few screenshots of it, and like,
yeah, I remember
this one. Aside from the fact that it just looks awful now, I'm just bewildered because the last time we saw this game, it didn't look phenomenal, but it was literally like, oh, the old version of the game, but in newer graphics. Like, I don't know, did they just restart the process all over? I know it was delayed for like a year and a half, maybe like 2 years.
That's what they're doing with Metroid. They just restarted.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's so weird to me that it's like the original intent, the original design, and everything. It was literally, we could argue up and down about like how it was going to come out and how well it looked in the pre-release shots that we saw, and that ridiculous they were trying to do pre-order bonuses and stuff like that for this old game that's already existed forever. You know, it wasn't looking phenomenal, but it was in the style of the original. It was literally just the old game brought up to the current Ubisoft standards, which aren't that great. Now it's like they look like NPCs from like an Assassin's Creed game. They look like random farmer and random person in background of Assassin's Creed game now, all the main characters. It doesn't look like Sands of Time anymore. So like I don't know.
I loved the original Sands of Time.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Such a good game.
Why
do these fucking companies just go in there and just fuck everything up? It's like they completely lose sight of what makes the games so good in the first place.
Yeah, there's
politics. Like I don't fucking understand.
Politics is part of it. A lot of it's culture. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum at this point about the different things that go there. It's like, okay, well, it could be the guy at the top, the corporate guys that have they think they know better for investors, so they got to do X, Y, and Z to make the product as palatable as possible. Or maybe it's whoever that got put in charge is more activist than developer. You never know with stuff like that. Or maybe there are outside investors. Like we've talked about, like, oh, me, you, and Joe have talked about, oh, Chinese government likes to go into Chinese companies and make changes where they have control. There are other forces out there with a lot of money and a lot of sway that really want this kind of thing, and they'll pay to see these things done. It's activism and just bad culture and stuff like that. It's these kind of things. I've mentioned, I haven't put this out there yet. I'm gonna try not to spoil it, but like on the video I'm doing for Dead Rising, I mentioned something. It's like, oh, there's a couple ways to do remakes. You have version A, which is like trying to be as delicate as possible in like bringing this original vision to a new standard with maybe new content that you had left over. Or you could do option B, which is carefully preserving it as much as possible and bringing it to the forefront. And then I go, well, there's also C, which is you just do it because you can, and it's just along the way you just like, oh, okay, I'm sitting on this thing, maybe I could make a quick buck, maybe I could make some changes to it to be more in line with the modern times. That's what a lot of these companies are. It's just they're sitting on the Sands of Time IP that still has some nostalgia because it really hasn't been touched before. It's like they had a rough mid-cool with the Forgotten Sands that nobody really thinks about, ironically. And then from there, they tried that reboot with the Prince of Persia, which was okay, but they dropped support afterwards, and that was that. So it's not a tarnished brand, but so it's something they can milk a little bit more out of. And you mentioned, is it political? I said it's more cultural. My whole thing is like it starts these stupid fucking arguments because now you have people going, "Why, you don't like Persian people looking like Persians?" I'm like, they look like Persians in the original. They look like Indians now. Like I don't understand. Like what's the fucking conniption here? Do you think we're retarded? Like I know consumers are retarded, and that's why they say these things because it works on retarded people who just buy whatever. It's like you'll have someone our age who never played Prince of Persia and never finished it, but they'll be like, oh, I loved it. I was back there with you guys too, and I love it. And you guys are complaining again, which means that you never really loved it as much as I did. And didn't you know that you're just afraid of brown people or something? It's like, what? Where are you coming from with this nonsense? It's the originals looked like the characters. They were remaking the game, and it looked like the originals. Now it doesn't. Like, why? How am I the bad guy here? How are people that want the good games for everybody to be faithful as possible? How are we the bad people in this? I don't understand. It's all so ridiculous. But so some more lovely remakes on the horizon. I mean, I'm pretty battered at this point after the Dead Rising thing. I have very little to get remade. I kind of lucked out with Final Fantasy IX seemingly getting canceled, so that's fucking awesome for me. But it's just like I don't have to worry about anything right now. So I mean, this sucks, and I would hate to see Prince of Persia, look like shit and play like shit. But it's just like I'm just emotionally dead into it outside of when I'm shouting about it directly. So it's just like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, what is even the last like remaster I was really into? I don't even
probably Legendary Edition, right?
Oh yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. Yeah, it was definitely Mass Effect without a doubt.
Yeah.
Can't believe I forgot that. Shame on me.
I mean, it's because I mean, I'll give you a pass because you mentioned it's like, oh, I go out of my way to play it once a year. I'm like, all right. You get a pass. That just means you
Last
played it
time,
so much it all blurs together.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, well, yeah, like you said, I make it a point to replay the entire trilogy about once a year. I used to do that with the original Modern Warfare trilogy, which I've been meaning to go back and replay all over again
Yeah.
because fuck, I love that trilogy. It's so good. Like literally from beginning to end. Just the story from beginning to end was so good. Uh now I'm gonna make myself sad. Um, oh, you know that actually reminds me. I played Endgame for Black Ops 7.
Oh.
Woof. It just okay. It wasn't like horrendous, okay, but it also wasn't good. Um, uh, it's literally just. Do you remember when I said that I was convinced that the campaign for Black Ops 7 was created by an AI?
Yeah, we had that
At
whole
least like the
conversation.
broad strokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Endgame was also. It's just first person slop. Like I don't know how else to describe it. They clearly want to shove Warzone down everybody's throats, and uh, nobody is creative enough to make something like a DMZ. And like, I might get flack for saying that DMZ was creative, but you know what? And through the lens of COD, I think it was creative. Um, at the very least, it was a ton of fucking fun. But I'm not here to talk about DMZ right now.
Yeah.
Endgame is just go here, complete this objective. You get like this combat rating as you play through the mode that every time you level up, you're getting a new power up. Like it, I I leveled up like 2 times. I'm like, this is a fucking roguelite. Like this is a roguelite. I'm like, god damn it! Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing is
It's-
challenging.
Yeah, it's. I mean, based on everything you've told me, and I mean, I've mentioned it before. It's really just a certain style of third mode is just getting distilled lower and lower to like just less function.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I don't know. I
Apparently
did
the
actually.
multiplayer is good.
I did download it, so if you ever want to try any of the modes, you just got to let me know. But,
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually curious to see what your thought of Endgame is. We should play it soon. So don't uninstall it. That way we could play it, see see what we want to see, and then we can both uninstall it together and never
Okay.
touch it again.
there you go.
Yeah. Apparently, the multiplayer is good from all the different people that I follow. I haven't touched it honestly. Like I'm just not interested. You know, like I would rather play Battlefield or Space Marine or any one of those other games that I listed off at the beginning of this episode. Zombies is literally a carbon copy of Black Ops 6. Doesn't make it bad because I did enjoy Black Ops 6 Zombies, but I don't know, man. Try something new. And Endgame is just it just like, oh, here's a bunch of targets, go shoot them. You're not really gonna die. You get a free res on spawn every single time. The amount of camos that you want to that are there to grind out, it's just too much, man. It's just too much. Oh, and there's zombies and regular like foot soldiers in this map also. Like it doesn't know what it wants to be, on top of being just purposeless and fucking slop. It's uninspired. It's boring. The only good thing about it, in my opinion, is that the game feels good to play. Everything else around it is just bullshit. It's just bullshit. So there you go. There's my elevator review of Black Ops 7 Endgame. Yeah, we're reaching that critical mass level again with Call of Duty as a franchise, where they're gonna have to bring back another heavy hitter. They're gonna either have to remake World at War, I'm sorry, or Black Ops 1. They're gonna have to. Like they already did Modern Warfare. The only other two that I would consider heavy hitters are the original Black Ops and World at War. There's no other like sub franchise, right? Am I missing anything? Not counting like the original, World War II setting for Call of Duty, which I guess they could do, but they just have to do it right. So, yeah, man, I don't know, and the numbers speak for themselves too. Like Battlefield has, for the first time ever, has destroyed Call of Duty. In critically, commercially, for player sentiment, everything from top to bottom. They've taken COD to school. So I don't know what it's going to be next for COD, but They need to pivot, otherwise it's just gonna be a downward spiral.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much we can really say about Call of Duty. Again,
I know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember what you mentioned, but it made me think of Endgame.
Yeah, but we were just talking about different modes and shit. But I mean, I don't have too much else. There are two little things. One you might get a kick out of, and the other one, is more in my realm. But did you see the Jeff Keighley posted like coordinates, and people went there?
No.
Okay, so he was gassing up the Game Awards, and he just posted this. He posted this. I forget exactly where it was, but it was like out in the desert somewhere, like off of a road, right? And he posted a thing there, and right after that post, everybody starts going, "Oh my God, desert! The road it's on is like on something Mesa." So everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Half-Life 3. It's got to be Half-Life 3. We're so back." Then people go out there and they find this massive monument.
Boy.
Just like this monument built out there. It's like all skulls and Gothic looking stuff and demonic.
Part of this marketing thing.
Yeah, it's a marketing thing. Yeah, no, they found a real model. The demons, they're coming through. No, and everyone just goes, "Oh my God!" There were some people who thought it was New Vegas. I have no fucking idea. Like, those people are desperate. That's all that is. But there were people saying,
the only reason why I could like see that argument is because the Fallout show was as popular as it was.
Yeah. So there are the other front runners were like, "Oh, maybe it's Elder Scrolls, maybe it's the Egypt God of War, who knows?" And then the once the picture started circulating, it turns out it's probably just going to be a Diablo 4 expansion. That's it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that reaction, that reaction of yours, where it's just silence. That's pretty much what everybody. That's pretty much what everybody. That's what everybody had.
You guys have phones, right? Like, you all have phones.
Yeah, I think what they're teasing. I think they're teasing the more collaboration with Berserk, which is something they set up however many months ago.
How out of touch or how tone deaf can these fucking companies be, man? It's crazy.
They just, I don't know. I think that things like this need to be for really special, unprecedented. Like, it needs to be either something really special or it needs to be something that you can't solve with complete accuracy before the event starts playing. That's my take on this. I think it was Todd Howard recently said, he's just like, I want to do more shadow drops, and I think the way the industry is shadow drops is the way to go. Big teases like this don't really, like, I'm just like, wow, I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, is this your big hype, Jeff? Is this what you've got for me? Like, I already tune out all the time at your award show. I don't know what I don't know, man. But yeah, so Jeff was doing his yearly pre-disappointment, routine.
Pre-disappointment.
Yeah.
Now, I got some funnies today, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
You sound fucking shot, though.
We talked about so much depressing shit.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Although I am still happy. I'm thrilled that you have a lot of games to play. Like you mentioned.
So am I. To be honest with you,
stuff to play too.
It did not dawn on me that they were all live service games until you said something. What does that say about me?
Hey, that's not on you. That's on the industry.
I'll take it.
You leave my buddy alone. That's on the industry. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about releases and things of that nature when it comes time to do our award show in the next few weeks. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say, insightful on that. My last story for today, Dan, is a very basic one, just following up on something. Downfall of Tekken and its developers.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lead with the smaller of the two. So there's the two guys. I'm gonna remind you. One's Harada. He's the Japanese guy. He started by voicing characters in the original Tekken. He's been the lead of the franchise for a long time. He's seen it through highs and lows. And then he's got his American compatriot Michael Murray, who's just this pasty, waste of space kind of guy. I honestly, the more I learn about him, the more he's just like a figurehead. He's just I think he was there originally just to translate for Harada, and he does have like a huge title in the the American side of things, of that nature for Tekken. But it's just like, I don't know. It's like the more he has to say on his own that isn't just translating Harada's words, he's just annoying. He's the pasty, annoying, exactly what you would expect kind of guy. And he recently got put on blast recently. Apparently, like, I just, out of the blue, I'm just like, okay, there's some kind of commotion. Like, he's blocking people on social media, right? Like, he's just having this massive, spurg out. I'm just like, okay, this is kind of on par for both of the Tekken guys. So what's going on here? And I'm digging, and I can't find why he's blocking all these people who are, by the way, fans of Tekken. People who play the product that he's helping, spearhead. Turns out, on a recent stream, he had his legs crossed in a very feminine way, and people were poking fun at him, and he just went on this fucking massive blocking spree of not just people like over here. Effect. Yeah, it's just, I wouldn't have even fucking heard about it or cared about it, but it's like, it's funny because you have people busting his chops about that, and I'm just like, that's a little much. But then he retaliates, so I'm just like, well, that's unprofessional. Just fucking ignore these fucking people. You don't have to block them, but they're still your customers or whatever. And then I've got Tom coming out of the blue to tell me, he's like, oh my god, they're blocking people. He's blocking people. What is this about? And he finds it's like, oh well, it's kind of understandable. So now I'm sitting here going, well, guess what? Maybe he's in the wrong in this fucking thing. This little spur, But yeah, that's just one thing. The Harada, on the other hand, what happened with him is he recently, I feel bad for him a little bit here because he's been having a rough go of it, just between all the shit I've been telling you about Tekken, month over month. I still don't appreciate his decorum and how he acts and the way he talks to people. I mentioned at one point he had this reputation built around him based on the fact that he would say like, oh, don't ask me for anything. It was a tough guy thing and everybody laughs. But now that the game sucks, nobody's really laughing, and he comes off as an ass, and all of his tweets are about how he wants to leave the company. And I feel bad because we talked about Itagaki a couple of weeks ago, the Dead or Alive Ninja Gaiden guy. He seemed very impacted by the loss of this guy. And recently he decided, like, he took an interview and he's talking about like, oh, Capcom's doing pay-per-view, and I think that's interesting. And everybody spun it to make it out to be like he was about to start nickel and diming everybody to watch Tekken online. So he just starts taking a pounding online, and he's like, oh, that's just what happens with the media. So now he's all defeatist about it. But my whole thing is like, yeah, he was taken out of context, and that kind of sucks. But at the same time, the people who sign his checks are more than likely going to end up targeting this if the esports bubble lasts long enough to that point. Namco will absolutely try pay-per-view if Capcom pulls it off. So I'm reminded of a while ago when when Tekken 7 first came out. At some point he was interviewed about DLC, right? And they said, what are the plans for DLC? He's like, well, I can't tell you exactly what's going on, but my plan is that brand new characters, you'll have to pay money. Legacy characters, you won't have to pay anything. And everybody's like, that's awesome, right? That's not what happened. Every character was the same price, and they charged quite a shit ton. And what that says to me is like, that was probably over his head. I don't think he had the control to do that. So what's going to end up happening here, why I bring that up, is at a certain point, they are going to do pay-per-view, or they're going to do something of that nature to get more money out of esports while they still can. And he is going to get so much flack for this moment. Because unlike the DLC character comment, that this one's not going away. It's in the public mind during one of Tekken's lowest points. So yeah, I guess that's what's going on in the world of Tekken, something I'm not particularly invested in, and I know you don't give a flying fuck about, but that's a little bit of drama going on in the fighting game community.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Well, all right then.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this can provide an outlet to these frustrations. There is that. All right. Well, on that note,
yeah.
Unless you got something else, I think it's a good a spot as any to wrap this bitch up.
Yeah, I think that's everything I got for this week. So yeah, I think we're good to go.
All right. Cool. Well, if you've made it this far, then thank you. We appreciate it. This was episode 82 of the Pregame Network podcast, and we will be back next week to talk about more stuff and things. I will probably have a bunch of updates as far as what I've played, how it was, because all the shit that I play is all getting updated on the same goddamn day.
Try not to overwhelm yourself there, buddy.
Pain. So I will keep you posted as far as how all that goes. I am honestly expecting the majority be a positive one. So I'm erring on the glass half full side of things for this.
Excellent.
But on that note, this was episode 82. Thank you very much, and we'll be back next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I said that at the same time.